Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the very first official episode of Needlepoint TV. I'm Ellen Johnson, and I'm your host. I'm the owner of Serendipity Needleworks and the founder of the Stitchers Club, and I'm delighted to be here with you this afternoon. We're going to talk about some things that I've been blogging about over on the website. One of those is setting smarter goals for 2020, and then also to take part in the hashtag Stitch 20 in 20 challenge that I've issued. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to get logged in, and I'm going to request that if you would do me a favor, because this is technology, and I am going to plug in here. Let me plug directly into the Ethernet too. Hold on one second. Make sure that we've got a really good connection here. Okay, so I am, like I said, delighted to be here with you. If you would take a minute to type in and let me know that you can see me and hear me okay, and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun for me to be able to see that too. So if you can hear me and see me okay, give me a thumbs up or a heart or something like that. And okay, good deal. So we've got Ann and Alice with us. Great. Glad to have you all here with us. And I know more people will begin to join us as we get into the broadcast. That tends to be the nature of the way these things work. People see us and then they jump on and join the fun. So again, I'm delighted to be here with you this afternoon. If you're watching this as a recording, please make sure that if you have a question about anything, that you leave your question in the comments box. And of course, if you're watching with me live, I invite you to leave your questions in the comments box as well as we're doing the broadcast. One thing I will remind you of is that there is a slight delay between when you type in your question and hit enter and when I see it. So, and the same thing is true if I type in some type of a link or something for you. There is a little bit of a delay between when I type that in and hit enter and when you see it. So we're going to kind of muddle through this afternoon because I do still have the leftovers from whatever that stuff was I had the week after Christmas and then has lingered on into this week. But I did get a couple of shots yesterday and 3 prescriptions, so I'm feeling a lot better. So that's good. I just may have some coughs, so y'all just bear with me. In fact, I feel one coming. Hang on. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I wish there was a way to mute myself so that you didn't have to deal with it, but it is what it is. So anyway, welcome again. The one thing that I wanted to, or the main thing I wanted to talk with everybody about today was the Stitch 20 in 20 challenge. There's been a good bit of conversation over inside the Serendipity Needleworks Facebook group, and if you're not a member of that, I encourage you to join. It's free, and we have a lot of fun inside there sharing our projects and encouraging each other. And the Stitch 20 in 20 challenge is really quite simple. It is nothing more than me encouraging you or challenging you, however you want to look at it, to stitch for 20 minutes every day during 2020. Now, I know in an ideal world we could all do that. Excuse me. And so, unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world, and so there are going to be days that you can't do that. So my really challenge, I guess you would say, would be to encourage you to stitch 20 minutes as often as you possibly can, with the aim of trying to get in at least 5 days a week. Kind of like that old exercise thing. They say if you exercise or walk for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you've done a good thing. Well, I'm thinking the same thing in terms of your stitching. If you can stitch for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, then, or 20 minutes a day for 5 days a week, then you've done a good thing in establishing a good, strong stitching habit. Because I know that y'all, I am so sorry. Let me get some water here. Hopefully this won't be too bad of an issue on Saturday. But we will edit it for you, so I promise you won't have to watch the recording with me coughing or doing that. So anyhow, and I have lots of cough drops, so I've just about bought out CVS on their Ricola cough drops. Anyway, there are people, I need to get back to the challenge here. So there are people who have posted inside the Facebook group that they're participating in another challenge, and that is the hashtag Needlepoint 20 in 20. So to clarify the difference between the two, the Needlepoint 20 in 20 challenge is for you to stitch 20 projects in 2020. Now, that's what got me interested in this whole thing to start with. And the reason I decided to do a little twist on it was because I knew that with my schedule being like it is, there was no way on this planet I was ever going to finish 20 projects in 2020. I'm too busy. And so I thought, well, how can we take this and use it inside the Serendipity Needleworks circle of friends or in the Serendipity family? How can we do this to encourage people to get back to their needlepoint or to spend some time every day working on a project? And that's when I was scrolling through on Needlepoint Nation and came across this, the Needlepoint 20 and 20 challenge. And my thought was, what if we just did 20 minutes a day? And then lo and behold, one of the very next posts was somebody with that very same idea. So she and I kind of put our heads together, and I said, well, I'm going to start this, and if you want to join, please join me over in the Facebook group. And she did. So I haven't asked permission to share her name, so I won't do that. But that's kind of how this all got started. So I'm encouraging people to, again, stitch 20 minutes a day as often as you can, preferably 5 days a week, so that you can begin to establish a habit, because the more you do something, the more ingrained it gets in your daily routine, and so the more likely you are to continue that. And as a byproduct, perhaps you'll end up with 20 finished projects anyway, so that would be just a bonus. All right, so let me pop back in and see. I don't know if there are any questions that have popped up, but I am definitely going to look and see here. I see we have a lot of people that have joined us, so good deal. We've got Susan and Kim and Elle and Mary Jane. Let's see, and Susie, Sherry, Susan, Carol, Karen. All right, Karen, I'm glad to have you here with us. Karen is usually at work during the day, so. And we have another Karen that just popped on, and then Bev. So I'm so happy to have all of y'all here with us. So I don't know if you've seen on the blog this week, and I do have to confess, I didn't get the email out today. I just have been working like a little maniac trying to get ready for Saturday's workshop, the Winter Wonderland workshop. Last week being sick threw me off schedule, so I just didn't do as much as I didn't do hardly anything. And so I'm playing catch up this week, and I just completely dropped the ball and didn't get today's email out. So there is a new blog post over on the website, on the Serendipity Needleworks website, and I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see it here now. When I have to say, I know one side of my face looks pink and the other side doesn't. I'm taking prednisone, so I look flushed. That's what that's all about. So anyway. Okay, and Vanessa's with us before she heads off to work, and she's down under. So she is down in, it's summertime there. So, all right, let me share my screen, and let's see, here we go. So the hashtag Stitch 20 and 20 challenge is the new post that's on the website now, and this is really basically describing what I just told you about what the Stitch 20 and 20 challenge is. And if you haven't already joined, we'd love to have you join. All you need to do is consider this your official invitation. And then there is a link at the bottom of the blog post, and the website is serendipityneedleworks.com. I'll type that in here in just a minute, but you can see that, excuse me, there is let me get to the bottom. I don't want to scroll too fast because I don't want to make y'all dizzy. So let me get down here to the bottom. There is a link to join the Serendipity Needleworks free Facebook group there if you haven't done that already. You don't have to be participating in the challenge in order to join the group. It's just an extra resource and a place for us to be able to share our wins and to encourage each other and share our projects and all that kind of good stuff. So it's just a fun place to be. Now, I will say that there are a lot of things that you can do, some time-saving tips, and that's what this blog post is about, some time-saving tips that you can do to reclaim 20 minutes per day. The 20 minutes, sometimes your schedule is so busy that it's really hard to find time to be able to work on a project. So if you can find little ways to reclaim some time, then that'll it'll free up some time for you to be able to put a needle to a canvas for a small chunk of time every day, or at least 5 days a week. So there's some time-saving tips here for food prep, some for your health, some for chores, and then, of course, we have to address social media. And I just have to say, I bought this canvas yesterday. I'm back in canvas acquisition mode. I need to kind of get out of that because I've been in it for like a month now. So I need to get busy doing some stitching. But I thought this one was too cute, and so anyway, I love that one. I do want to also tell you that before I come back and I'm not sharing my screen with you anymore, do want to touch base and let you know that there is a blog bonus. So if you click on that bar, that blue bar, that will take you to the Serendipity Needleworks time audit, and it will help you to start planning your ideal day so that you can find some ways using all these tips. In addition to the audit that is included in this fun sheet, you can go there and you can print that off and then do the activity that's part of the fun sheet and then begin to develop your ideal day. So let me come back here and I'll get off the screen share. What is your ideal day? An ideal day is where you map out the things that you know that you have to do on, and you can do this by the week too. I need to back up and say you could do this by the week. Excuse me. So if you, for example, if you work and you have a schedule that you do, certain things on, each day of the week, then what you would do is you would plan out, after you go through the time audit that's part of this fun sheet, you would go through and you would schedule out all those things that you have to do on any given day, and then you can begin to see if there are some ways that you can do some shifting and create some space or some margin for yourself so that you can then have some extra time. I know I have a tendency sometimes, more times than not, to race through the day, schedule more than I possibly can do, and then feel frustrated at the end of the day. And this is just a habit that I'm trying to break right now. Last week I mentioned a book I'm reading called Atomic Habits, and it's a really, really good book. If you haven't had a chance to read that blog post, read that one too. But I'm reading that book now. I'm not finished with it, but it's a really good book that helps you to create habits that will, in the long run, cause you to have all kinds of wonderful, I guess you could say cumulative results, as opposed to creating goals. You establish habits which are more like a process instead of having a goal and then having steps to get to that goal. If you establish good processes in the beginning, then you'll have those habits, those established processes or habits in place, so that then you will be able to achieve the things that you want to be able to achieve. So it's just a little bit of a twist on, I still set goals for really big things that I want to do, but I think hand in hand, if you establish really good habits, then you're going to be much more likely to be able to achieve those goals that you set for yourself. And so anyway, those two blog posts, I would highly recommend that you read the first one, read the Smarter Goals one first, and then read this one, because they, like I said, they go hand in hand. So anyway, let's see. I'm going to make sure I got comments. I see my little thing scrolling here. So let's see. Okay, so Ann says prednisone. Oh yeah, it's not a fun thing to be taking, but it's so much better than the alternative. I guess y'all can probably tell I'm feeling better than I was even yesterday or the day before. So anyway, it's a necessary evil, and I'm willing to deal with it for 6 days. So anyway, all right, so, and Leanne says she thought she missed me. Nope, glad you were able to hop on. And Leanne, there's a lot of information in the beginning, so you may want to go back and watch the recording. So, because we are going to be hopping over inside the Stitchers Club here shortly at 4 o'clock, so that we can have our weekly live stream there too. So remember, if you're in the Stitchers Club, we'll be going over to do the to the Stitchers Club weekly live stream at 4 Central Time. All right, so now I've talked to you about the challenge, the 20 and 20 challenge, and clarified, hopefully answered questions about that. If you're participating in the Needlepoint 20 and 20, which is the 20 projects in 2020, then that doesn't mean that you can't take part in the Stitch 2020 challenge, 20 and 20 challenge. I'd be happy to have you join us. I'd love to have you join us. As a matter of fact, the more the merrier. That's kind of our mantra at Serendipity Needleworks, the more the merrier, because one of my core values, I guess you would say, is that needlepoint is supposed to be fun. And another one of those is that, I've been, and I guess it's not really in a short snippet that I could share with you, but my grandmother taught me how to do needlepoint gosh, I don't even know. I can't do the math. I'm 56. I learned when I was 9, so 47 years ago. So I learned how to do this a long time ago. Let's just put it that way. So I started with pre-worked canvases. She took me, actually I started with stamped embroidered pillowcases and dresser scarves, and I learned how to do surface embroidery first. Those were from the dime store, and then that was when I was 7, and when I turned 9, I had 2 years of practice. When I turned 9, she took me to Gaffer's, which is a department store down on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi. They had a needlework department, and she bought me my very first piece of needlepoint, and it was a bouquet of violets. And she taught me how to do the tent stitch. I learned continental. She did not teach me basket weave, and she didn't teach me how to do any kind of a waist knot or anything like that. I held the tail on the back with my finger and I stitched over it until I covered it, and then I kept going. And so anyway, that was my very first project. Was a pre-worked needlepoint canvas. 47 years ago. Couldn't tell you where it is now to save my soul. I'm not sure it's even in our possession anymore. But I did find I guess it was before Christmas. This may have been part of what started my stash acquisition stash enhancement exercises. I found on eBay that very canvas, and so I ordered it and have it. It was, I think, $25, and so I'm going to stitch that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but just for I guess for posterity, so to speak. But anyhow, and I forgot where I was going with that story. Oh well. Excuse me. So anyhow, pay it forward. That's where I was going with it. Pay it forward. So that's part of what I feel like doing this kind of encouraging people to stitch for 20 minutes a day is kind of my way of helping pay it forward, hoping that we'll get people back into our beloved hobby, and maybe even encouraging other people to pick it up. I know one thing that I've been doing for a long time is taking projects with me when I go to the doctor's office, and recently I've been going a lot, and I've been taking my mom and stuff like that. But when we go to the heart doctor, Dr. Proctor, he always comments. I usually take here lately I've been taking belts with me, and he always comments on what I'm doing and wants to see my progress. And it's a way, if you take your projects with you out into public, and I'm all over the map here, I need to reel it back in. If you're a knitter, you know about Knit in Public Day. That's a day that's set aside every year, usually in June, for people to take their projects out into public and to knit in public. Well, I don't think there's a Stitch in Public Day. There should be. Maybe we should start one. I mean, this would be a perfect time to do it. But to encourage people to take your stitching out in public so people can see what you're doing, and you can share that with them and perhaps encourage them to pick it up as a hobby as well. I know the supplies are not as readily available or as easily available as being able to go to a big box craft store and get a skein of yarn and a crochet hook or a pair of knitting needles, but still, you can share what you're doing and at least enlighten people into the world of, I guess that's right, enlighten people about needlepoint, and then perhaps encourage them to give it a try themselves, because one of my biggest fears has always been that this would become a lost art, in addition to all other kinds of needlework. And so it's really my passion to make sure that I do my part to pay it forward and encourage as many people as I can to do whatever it is that appeals to them, whether it is, it doesn't have to be needlepoint, although I would love for it to be needlepoint, or embroidery. Those are my two first loves. But anything that you can do that's a creative outlet for yourself, and I have to stop here and say, you may think you're not creative, but you are so wrong. Every single person is creative in their own way. So don't ever, ever, ever say you're not creative. You are. Because you participate in needlepoint as a hobby, that in and of itself is creativity. So not gonna have it. Nobody is not creative. Everybody is creative. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox there. So let's see. All right. So Claire says she loves to. Let me back up. Leanne says I'm describing how she was taught. Oh, I love it that yours is framed in your room. That's terrific. And then Claire says she loves to pay it forward. Claire, I love that. That's one of near and dear to my heart. You are a gal after my own heart. So that is wonderful. Okay, so we've got, oh my goodness, we've got all kinds of people that have posted comments here, and I just missed it. I guess I was just, like I said, on my soapbox on a roll there. Okay, so let me see. Leanne says, let's see, is, all right, okay, so yes, she took something to an adult daycare. All right, and then, oh, I'll be happy to. Susan wants to see my eBay find. I'll be happy to. I'll have to go downstairs. I won't do it right now, but I'll share it in a picture in the Facebook group. So, and then, oh, and Leanne says her family thinks she has a drug addiction and but her drug of choice is needlepointing. I know the feeling. So, if I can work on a piece of needlepoint or a piece of embroidery, I am a happy girl. So, well, y'all, I have rattled on long enough. I appreciate again you joining me ever so much. I'll just recap quickly. If you have not, if you're not familiar with the Stitch 20 and 20 challenge, to recap, it's to encourage you to stitch 20 minutes every day or as many days as you possibly can with the aim of shooting for 5 days a week. And then also, if you want to participate in the Needlepoint 20 and 20 challenge, that's where you're trying to complete 20 projects in 2020. We're not going to use that as our goal. Our goal in the Stitch 20 and 20 challenge is to actually spend time every day working on our projects. And then if the byproduct is 20 finished projects in 2020, well then all the better. So if you would love to be a part of our Serendipity Needleworks Facebook group, please, let me see. Let me hop over here and see if I can get that. I'm going to share that link here with y'all. Let me get this really fast. I'm going to copy it and paste it. And so there is the link for the free Facebook group. It'll pop up in just a second. And then, of course, the blog post, let me share those two. Well, I'll share one blog post with you, and then you can back up and find the other one just by backing up by 1 week. So well, I don't know. Maybe I should just do that too. Let me just go back to the home page and I'll share that with you so you can have a link straight to that one too. All right. So right now, let's see. Let me find that. Okay. So it's the one about smarter goals and habits. Okay. All right. So there we go. So there are the two blog posts and then the link to join the Facebook group, the free Facebook group. One final reminder, the enrollment closes tonight at 8 o'clock for the Winter Wonderland workshop that's going to be happening on Saturday. So if you were intending to do that and you haven't done it yet, then you do need to make sure that you go over to that page and sign up. Maybe I should put that up here too. Let me see. Let me see if I can find that link. Yes, here it is. Okay, so if you want to participate in that workshop on Saturday, whoops, I don't know if that went up or not. We'll have to look and see. We'll have to wait just a second and see. Yeah, there it is right there. So if you want to sign up for the Winter Wonderland workshop, that happens on Saturday from 1 to 3, and enrollment closes tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time. We'll tell you that it's 20 plus stitches that you can use on winter-themed canvases, winter-themed needlepoint canvases. That includes wintry landscapes. It includes Christmas projects. It includes, I'm trying to think what are some other things. Santa Clauses. It doesn't have to be just like gingerbread houses, all that kind of stuff. So anything that has a snow or an icy or a wintry theme, including Christmas canvases, those are going to be some stitches that I'll be sharing 20 plus stitches that you can use on projects like that. And so if you do decide that you want to join, there is the enrollment period ends tonight at 8 o'clock. And I'd love to have you. We've got a wonderful group of people who are already enrolled. And for those of you who are enrolled, if you'll check in the Serendipity Needleworks Facebook group, there is a link there directly to your portal so that you can go there, click it, go there and log in. And as just a little, I guess I'll go ahead and spill the beans here before I sign off. I got 4 minutes before 3:30. So one thing that I had told y'all, if you were participating, is that I always like to include Lagniappe, and that is a little something extra. And there will be coming to you tomorrow an email that includes the instructions on how to join the workshop and how to access the portal, and there's a tour that's inside the portal and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm also doing a 30-day pop-up group, Facebook group, so that there will be a group that you can go into and ask questions of after the workshop is over. So in addition to having the student portal where all of your materials will be housed for you to have lifetime access to. You'll also have this 30-day pop-up group that you can go to here on Facebook to ask questions after the workshop is over, because I know we're going to be covering a lot of material in 2 hours, and there are several people who have expressed some concern to me about that, and I understand that. I get it, because I know that's a lot to consume in 2 hours' time. The good thing is that the workshop is going to be recorded, and so the recording will be uploaded into your student portal as quickly as we can possibly get it there. The recording will be closed captioned, and so will the videos, because we're going to take that 2-hour recording and go back and break it down into small bite-sized chunks so that you don't have to watch 2 hours of video to find that one nugget that you wanted to find. So we'll be breaking it down into smaller videos and putting that inside your portal as well. Now that'll be about a week out because it takes some time to get that editing done. So that will be coming to you as well. So just kind of some extra things that you may or may not have been aware of that are going to be associated with that Winter Wonderland workshop. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I can hardly wait. I'm so excited about it. And at last count, we had 23 stitches. I'm working on getting all those diagrams put together and get them uploaded. Those will not go live until Saturday for those of you who are wondering about that. Your workbook materials will be live for you tomorrow, so you'll have time to print them out. But the stitch diagrams will not be live until Saturday. So anyway, all right, so it is 3:28. Good question, Ann. Ann wants to know, if you're in the Stitchers Club, do you need to enroll? And the answer is no. If you're a member of the Stitchers Club, whether you're a monthly member or an annual member, you get access to this workshop for free. It's part of your membership. So thank you for asking that, because I've had some people who have asked that, and I did need to reiterate that. So, all righty. Thank y'all so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you think of a question after the fact, after we sign off, come back and type it in the comments, because I do keep an eye on things. And if you're watching this as a replay, remember, type your question in the comments box there too. Or if you're even watching as a replay, let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun for me to see where you're watching from if you're catching it as a replay too. So, have a great rest of your day. I will see the Stitchers Club members in 30 minutes inside the Facebook group. I look forward to all of you being with all of you who are taking the Winter Wonderland workshop on Saturday. And for the rest of you guys, I will see you again this time next week, same time, same place, right here for the second episode of Needlepoint TV. Thanks for joining me, and have a happy Thursday. Bye for now.